Before I let you go, I do want to ask about the White House's response. They spoke out against these protests, and they said this in part: while every American has the right to peaceful protest, calls for violence and physical intimidation targeting Jewish students and the Jewish community are blatantly anti-Semitic, unconscionable, and dangerous. What do you think of the response, and do you think the Biden administration is doing enough?
I appreciated the national strategy they released almost a year ago, and I appreciated the statement yesterday. But look, I'd like to see Secretary Cardona go to Colombia. I'm sorry, U.S. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona go to Colombia. I want to see the administration demonstrate that they're going to take real action. Now, you should know that Education Department has initiated maybe a dozen and a half, or maybe 2.5 dozen Title VI investigations of universities. That's more than's ever happened in the history of the Office of Civil Rights at Education, so that's good. But we need the administration to continue to say the right thing and then to do the right thing. So again, I would like to see more Title VI investigations. I would like Department of Justice to offer services to schools to help them with appropriate, protective measures. And I'd really like to see the FBI investigate these groups for their espousal and their continued kind of elevation of Hamas propaganda. I mean, I probably don't need to tell you, Hamas is not, like a Girl Scout troop. It's a foreign terror organization as designated by the U.S. State Department. As such, it is a violation of the criminal code if U.S. citizens are supporting Hamas. You're not allowed to, you can't do a bake sale for, Boko Haram at Columbia. You can't do a raffle for Al-Qaeda at your local Knights of Columbus Hall, and you can't provide material support for Hamas. So it's about time that the FBI and law enforcement authorities took a real hard look at who is behind this, where is the money coming from, and, again, applying consequences to people who are breaking the law.
You said at the beginning of this conversation that this is something you haven't seen in the United States. You've seen it abroad, not here. What do you think is missing then from the national conversation?
Well, I don't know if everyone appreciates how if we don't act, things like a virus, things spread. And again, we've seen these kinds of protests in places like London. We've seen these kind of protests in some other European capitals, Paris. I've never seen anything like this here before. But this is a virus, and this virus, again, will spread. It will move. It won't be contained just to Columbia or just to the Ivies or just to colleges. It's coming to corporations. It's coming to cultural institutions. It's coming to the halls of Congress. This virus will overtake everything if we don't get engaged. And that may be the most important point on which to kind of end the conversation. As Lord Jonathan Sacks said, anti-Semitism starts with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. Anti-Semitism and the kind of conspiracy theories that drive it, they are symptomatic of social decay. And an institution like a university or any other organizing unit that tolerates anti-Semitism opens the door to this kind of virus coming in and corroding everything. So this is not a Jewish problem, although it directly affects and imperils Jewish college students. This is an American problem. And to watch these people tear down American flags, try to burn American flags, as happened. It happened at Yale yesterday. It happened in New York City last week. It reminds me that this is much bigger than just a few Jewish students being targeted. This is about society as we know it. And if we want to hold on to this, we've got to be ready to fight for it. And that doesn't mean fighting for it by getting guns or weapons. That means fighting for it with the legal and moral tools that we have at our disposal and putting our shoulder to the wheel and giving it all we've got.